What's up, bro? It's time to lock in with God in 2025. I just feel like this is the year for growth, and I don't know what my word of the year is going to be. I always do like some kind of word of the year. I don't know what mine is yet, but I do feel like there's going to be a lot of growth this year, not only in my life, but in my spiritual life too, not just my physical life. I feel like this is the time to lock in with God more than ever before. A lot of the time we start the new year with a bunch of resolutions and things that we never actually get done. But this year I really want to lock in with God to start the year so that the rest of the year falls into his hands and not our own anymore. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that in 3 practical steps. I'm not just going to tell you to lock in. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it and how I'm going to do it this year. At the end of the day, I can't do it for you. I can just tell you how I'm going to do it. And I encourage you guys to go with me on this journey. And remember, you're not alone because iron sharpens iron. We're in this together. Let's grow with God. 2025, this is the year, man. And look, it doesn't mean that your whole life is just going to change into this spiritual thing, because when we put everything in God's hands, we'll see success in every area of our life. Whether you want a relationship, better relationships, better career, everything will work out even better when we leave it in God's hand and trust him with the rest. All right, how to lock in with God in 2025. All right, number 1, we're going to set a strong foundation in the word. And this is not just me saying read your Bible every day, because that doesn't work. We know sometimes we're not motivated and we're not going to do it. So let's set realistic expectations about this. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a Bible or the Bible app or something that you can use to read the Bible. And we're going to set aside the first few minutes of the morning strictly for God. I'm going to be honest. If you want him to bless the rest of your day and your life, then you got to start with him. You got to include him. But here's where it gets fun. We're not just going to read hours and hours every morning. We are going to get a Bible plan going. And this is how you're going to do it. You got to first reflect on your life and say, what do I want to grow with God the most? Like, what kind of spiritual growth do I need? Do I need more courage throughout my life? Do I need more peace? Maybe I have a lot of anxiety. Maybe I don't know who I am. Maybe I'm struggling with identity. These kind of things, you're going to pick one thing that you really want to focus on, and you're going to go onto Google or the YouVersion Bible app and type that word or sentence, and you're going to find a Bible study plan that matches up with the thing you want to work on. I'm telling you, this is going to work a lot better than just reading the Bible, because you have an objective. You have a goal. I feel like in my life, when I'm going to read something or when I'm going to do something, if I have a long-term picture of it, it starts to make more sense in my head, and it helps me to really lock in. And the key to this whole thing is making it fun. Like, get some coffee. Make it a good time. Don't just be like,
oh, I have to read my Bible.
Be like, yes, I get to do this study plan. I get to get in the Word. I get to enjoy coffee. And you get to get closer with God. How cool is that we get to get close to our Creator by reading the Word that he gave us? So number 1, start a Bible plan and stick to it. Okay, number 2, this one is big because we all get distracted. We all get off track at some point in our faith, and sometimes we're on fire for God, and all we want to do is get close to him. And then there's other times where we're like so distant. We feel so distant that we don't even want to open the Bible. We don't want to do these things. We don't want to go to church. We don't want to talk to anybody. It's just weird. We have levels. It's ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. And the best thing that I've found to do when we have moments like this is to not have just motivation, but we have to develop spiritual discipline. You have to have some kind of discipline in your faith, or you're not going to stick to the things when you don't feel like doing them. And so what I'm going to do is I got a cold plunge tub, and I'm going to start every day with the cold plunge. I'm going to work out and get in the cold plunge and make some time to pray with God in those moments. Am I going to want to wake up early every day and do this every day and get this cold water every day? No. I'm not going to want to do that every day, but I'm going to make myself. It's called discipline. And this is why I think going to the gym ties so much into our faith, because when you are disciplined in the gym, when you've been going to the gym a long time, you know how you don't always feel like going, but you kind of force yourself to go, and then you never regret it afterwards. You always feel better after you work out. And I feel like the same thing is with our faith. When we kind of force ourselves through those slumps and keep going anyway to the gym, and we do that with our faith, and we just force ourselves to wake up and read the Bible, wake up and pray, that's when you're going to see the most growth in your faith, because you're making yourself stick to this habit. You're making it not just a motivation, not just a discipline even, but you're making it a habit. So I told you what I'm going to do with the ice baths and prayer kind of thing, but I want you to think about yourself and your life. What could you add to your routine, your daily routine, something every day that makes you stick to this schedule? It could honestly be anything. Like if you go to the gym, maybe you listen to a worship song on the way. Sometimes we overcomplicate this whole thing with God, because he's not asking for much. He just wants our heart. And if we give that to him, if we say, all right, I'm going to stick to this and I'm going to make sure I give time to God so that my heart can be open to him, your whole life is going to change. Your relationships are going to change, and you're going to become just a different person. We don't do good things because we want to get into heaven, or we don't do good things because we feel good about it. We do good things because our relationship with Jesus reflects that through our life. What is that quote we always heard growing up? Lead by example. Not just what you say, but your actions. All right, last one, number 3. A lot of you probably won't like this, but we all need it. Prayer and fasting. I don't know if you know what that is. I'm going to make a whole video about it. But I want you to pick one thing in January at least. Just start with January. Pick one thing you're going to cut out of your life to make time for God. That could be social media. It could be limiting social media. There are so many distractions and things that we just fill our time with that we could really just move out of the way just for a month and put God in that place and see how your life changes. See how much spiritual growth you have. This is done all throughout the Bible. So I just looked this up. I want to give you a few examples from the Bible. Jesus fasted in the wilderness before beginning his ministry. Moses fasted while receiving the 10 Commandments. Elijah fasted in the wilderness after defeating the prophets. King David fasted and prayed after the prophet Nathan told him his child would die. So you see this pattern of notable people in the Bible fasting before they make a decision, or fasting to get closer to God. You know what the Bible says? It says that fasting should be done discreetly and humbly. So we don't need to tell everyone we're fasting. We need to just make it a part of our life, really in secret, because that's between you and God. Now, when you're talking to people that you can count on, of course you can talk about that. But it's saying not to brag about fasting. I always start January with a January challenge to really lock in for the year. And fasting just goes perfectly with this because something is taking up your time. And whether it's news, you could even cut out some news, social media, video games, TV, there's so many things. If you just cut one of them out and replace that time with God, I guarantee you will feel closer to God than before. So let me know in the comments, what's one thing that you could cut out in January 2025 to make room for God? And that, my friends, is how we're going to lock in with God to start the year in 2025. And I want you to start now because it's January. It's a perfect time. This month is good for a fresh new start, and especially getting closer to God. And I want you to remember this verse. It's Joshua 1:9. It says, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." So remember, when you're going through this time and these seasons, you're not alone. Even if it feels like you're alone, God is right there and he's with you wherever you go. He is in this journey with you, and so am I. Iron sharpens iron, and God is with you. Let's do this together. Let's get closer with God, and let's lock in. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know how it goes. Let me know your journey. We'll see you next time. Peace.